Perhaps one of the biggest issues when creating drawings on a computer is making sure that they turn out the way you want them to on paper. This is where good layer management and use comes in. The purpose of layers is to organize the data in your file so you can work with it and so that it has a correct visual display on paper, not just the screen. We've already kind of mentioned this before with talking about the different viewports that you can use. Let's open up the architectural example imperial drawing. Now, layers control how an object looks, but you can override a layer setting on an object by assigning that object a color or a line type, etc. Please don't ever do this. There are 3 keys to good object visual display management. They are 1, by layer, 2, by layer, and 3, by layer. Every object can either be assigned its properties individually or by layer. Let me open up the Properties panel. Press Ctrl and 1 at the same time. And if I select this line, I see that it's red. It's on the wall layer, and this object is set to by layer for its color. That means the color of this object will be displayed according to the color of the layer setting. So if I go to my layer manager and I go to the wall layer, I see it's set to red. I can change them all to yellow right here, and all of my walls are updated instantly. Now I can select the object or multiple objects, and I can override those layer settings. If I go to the color option on the properties palette, I can manually change it to red. Now, once I've done this, that means these walls will always be red no matter what. I can't change them until I go back to these objects, select them, and change them back to by layer. So if I want to change the wall coloring to magenta, I can't. I've broken my CAD file. So you have to be careful with that. Every object can either be assigned its properties individually or by layer. The 3 main display properties of an object they can have are color, line weight, and line type. Each layer can have these properties set. There's also transparency if you're using transparency. Now, it's good practice to keep all of your objects set to by layer. That allows you to control them in your viewports. Because now, when I go to my Layout tab, I open up this viewport, and I see that some of my walls are red, and some of them are magenta. So, well, what's the problem with that? Why is that a big deal? Well, if you're printing in color, some of your lines are going to be red, some of them are going to be purple. What if the client wants them all to be purple? We've made things difficult for you. You can't do that. You have to go back in and manually switch them to magenta or purple, whatever the color is. The problem is, let's say you go into a file that somebody else is also working on, and you switch it from by layer to red. You've just messed up your coworker's drawings because they needed it to be by layer because on their drawing, that wall needs to be faded back like a gray color. So now when I go to change this to a faded back gray color, the walls that you changed are now big and thick and black and dark when they print out. That's messing up their drawing. You lose control of your object's data when you manually override it by object. So you need to keep that in mind. Make it by layer all of the time. You say, well, I have this one line. It's only one line, and I need it to be this specific color, and I need it that way all of the time. That's fine. Make a unique layer then for that specific circumstance. And that's okay to do that. Because then, what if the circumstances change throughout the life of the project? That does happen all of the time. So just keep that in mind. It's in good practice to draw everything by layer.